What's up, fighting people? Welcome back to Canada!
Oh, yeah! 10 shows in 9 cities in 5 different provinces in Canada. Monday, we got up onto the bus at 7:15 in the morning to head to the airport. Flew from Chicago to Toronto, from Toronto to Thunder Bay. Then on Tuesday and Wednesday, we had 2 performances. We did those shows at the Thunder Bay Community Auditorium. It seats just about 1,500. And the St. Ignatius High School came to see our show, and they're also putting on a production of Rock of Ages. So me and Michael went to go see their production of Rock of Ages the next morning before our second show. It's just cool. Shout out to St. Ignatius High School. Doing a great job. Thursday, we had a 7 a.m. bus departure into Winnipeg, Manitoba. We played the historic Burton Cummings Theatre, which seated over 1,600, and it was a very cool venue that a bunch of different rock legends have played. On Friday, we had a noon bus call, very nice, heading into Brandon, Manitoba. Here we played the Keystone Center, which seats over 3,000, home of the Brandon Wheat Kings, a Canadian junior ice hockey team, part of the Western Hockey League. And on Saturday, we had an 8 a.m. bus call heading into Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. Try to say that 5 times fast. Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. Here we played the SaskTel Center. This arena was packed and very lively. It's home of the Saskatoon Blades in the WHL and the Saskatoon Rush, which is part of the National Lacrosse League. Also, a cool thing about Saskatoon, Gordie Howe, for those of you who don't know, one of hockey's all-time greats and former Detroit Red Wing, is actually born in Saskatoon, and his ashes are at the arena where we played, at the foot of his statue. They're buried right there. So it was cool giving him a little visit. Sunday, we had another noon bus call, cutting back to Regina, Saskatchewan. Here we played the Connexus Arts Center. They loved Christina here, weirdly enough, because her character was the name of their city. So every time her character was mentioned, they were like, yeah, Regina! This theater opened in 1970 and seats over 2,000. On Monday, we had a 7 a.m. bus call. You can see that we're ping-ponging back and forth between early and noon, which is nice. We had an 8-hour travel day to Calgary, but we didn't have a show that evening, which is nice. On a personal note, during our lunch stop heading to Calgary, I got the news that my grandfather's health had taken a turn for the worse, and that I should probably give him a call to say goodbye. Tuesday morning at 3 a.m., my grandfather woke up singing, and then at 7:18 a.m. in Phoenix, Arizona, he went to go be with my grandma Jan. He celebrated his 87th birthday while we were in Chicago. Dealing with loss on the road is difficult, and it's not something that I really had to do thus far. I thought about taking the night off. Sitting alone with myself in a hotel room in Calgary wasn't really going to be doing me any good. So instead, I played the Southern Alberta Jubilee Auditorium with the rest of the cast, and it was a gorgeous theater, and it sat over 2,500. In Calgary, we also had a great cast outing going axe throwing at BATL, or Battle, the Backyard Axe Throwing League. It was a welcome distraction for me. I also walked around downtown a bit to explore and clear my head, and in doing that, almost got a ticket for jaywalking. On Wednesday, we had a noon bus call heading to Red Deer, Alberta. Here we played the NMAX Centrium. This arena seats over 7,800 for games, but just over 3,300 for our purposes. NMAX Centrium is also home to the Red Deer Rebels, part of the Western Hockey League. On Thursday, we had a 6:30 a.m. bus call heading to Prince George, British Columbia. Fortunately, we did not have a show that night as it was a 10-hour travel day, but it was a gorgeous travel day through the Canadian Rocky Mountains. It had arguably the best lunch stop we've had to date on the tour in Jasper, Alberta. Friday, we had our 175th performance at the CN Centre in Prince George, British Columbia. This arena seats over 7,000, but for our purposes, just over 3,000. The CN Centre is home to the Prince George Cougars, another team in the WHL. On Saturday, we had a 6 a.m. bus call into Abbotsford, British Columbia for our final performance of this leg of the tour. Here we played the Abbotsford Centre, which just like the CN Centre, seats over 7,000, but 3,000 for our purposes. Abbotsford Centre is home to the Abbotsford Heat of the AHL, the American Hockey League. And with that, we have 2 weeks off before we pick the tour back up in Wausau, Wisconsin for the final 3.5 weeks of the tour. During this downtime, I spent some time in Seattle with my Aunt Susie. We got to go see Urinetown at ACT, and we got to see the tour of School of Rock, which my friend Jonathan is in. Then I went down to Arizona to properly say goodbye to my grandpa and to visit that part of the family. And now I'm spending a week in Georgia with Ginny and her parents and the dogs, having a good time, having nothing but a good time. And with that, I'll see you in Wausau, Wisconsin. Thanks so much for coming out. Chase your dreams and cheers.